Aloha friends, it's Robert Stellick with Blue Planet Surf. In today's video, I'm going to do a little recap of all the races that happened in July. We had a wing full race every weekend so far in July, plus another paddleboard race coming up this weekend. It all started with the July 4th race, the Hui race, always on Independence Day. That one I did on a stand-up paddleboard, and Tyler did a really nice recap video of that one. Then the following weekend, a couple days later, was the Voyager Wet Feet race. That kind of kicked off the Koa Kai Challenge, which was 4 races that had kind of a combined rating. That was a great race. We had wind all the way to the end, all the way from Hawaii Kai Port Lock to Kaimana Beach. Was really nice conditions, good turnout, so that was a fun race. And then the following weekend was the Paddle Imua race in Maui. So a bunch of us went over there just for the day, got there in the morning, did the race, and then flew back to Oahu the same day. So that race also was a Maliko run, really fun race, really good conditions, fun, fast race. So just a few days later on Thursday, we went back to Maui after the Paddle Imua race for a long weekend of racing. So on Thursday, we arrived in the morning, and the conditions were kind of overcast, but the wind turned out to be pretty good after all. And so I have a little video footage that I can share of that day. Yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit overcast conditions, but the wind actually turned on, and had great conditions that day. Unfortunately, at the end of the run, I ended up dropping my foil into the wing. The wind blew it over, and the tip of the foil just cut a big hole into the leading edge and through the bladder. So this was the sign up for the M2M race the next day. So that was on Thursday afternoon, evening. I rushed to Kahanakai, and Jeff Henderson was able to fix my wing. So I thought I'd be okay the next morning. And with my wing. And then this was the sign up for the M2M race. So this is on West Maui, getting ready to get set up for the M2M race. That's Molokai in the distance there. And in the morning, everyone's waiting in line to get their extra gear, their bags shipped over to Molokai. So basically, this is like a long weekend of racing, starting on Maui, racing to Molokai, spending the night, a couple of nights on Molokai, and then heading on from Molokai to Oahu. So it's like 3 days of racing on Saturday. There was also the Molokai Holokai race. So there's kind of a long line of people waiting to get their bags onto the boats. The jet skis were ferrying the gear from the beach out to the boats. So that was a little bit hectic. And then, I had pumped up my wing in the morning, getting ready to go out. And Jeff Henderson kind of warned me that the bladder had a tear right on the seam. So it's kind of a little bit the most difficult spot to repair the bladder. And sure enough, it was leaking, unfortunately. So it's kind of bummed my wing was leaking. So luckily, my friend Felipe was on the beach and had an extra wing. So he had like an F1 8-meter wing that I was able to borrow for the race. So he kind of saved my ass. So I was able to still do the race. And then I had one of the escort boats bring a wing over from Oahu for me for the M2O race a couple days later. So always like some last minute action and stuff going on. But this is the race tracker, so it's really cool to see watch the race progressing on the tracker. And I kind of put just the wing foil category, so these are just the wingers, not the stand-up foilers. And you can see kind of most of us were kind of heading a little bit north, trying to get across the channel quickly, a little bit north of the rum line, or what was showing there as the rum line. And then kind of highlighting some of the names. There's some of the top fast guys from Maui, and I was in there too. Felipe, Ken Winner, Tatiana, John McCabe, all up there in the front. And Javier, Lily. Lily got third place overall at the paddle Imua race in the wingfoil division, so that was super impressive. She was really fast. And I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit here. And so here's a little freeze frame of the race. I'm going to keep going. But yeah, as we got close to Molokai, the conditions there is just really nice downwind conditions along the coast of Molokai once you get there. There's kind of the top three, I think, were Bobo, Cash, and Livio. And then I was pretty close to them. Ken Winner was on the outside, and I think he was going a little bit faster than me. He was on that 340 foil. I was kind of I played it safe and used the bigger foil. I was worried that the wind would get light at the end of the race, so I wasn't on my super fast 340 foil. But yeah, I think I could have used a smaller foil because the wind was nice all the way through. So here, just doing a little replay of, I heard kind of an escort boat getting close to me. I didn't see anyone in front of me, but there's like a few people chasing me down. Lily and Tatiana and Javier were kind of close behind me. I never looked back, but at one point I heard a wing crashing into the water, and Lily later on told me that she was like right behind me and hit something in the water, probably like a plastic bag or something in the water. And you can see right here where she's like kind of chasing me down right behind me, and then all of a sudden she just fell in and stopped right there. So and then Tatiana was right behind me, Javier, and so it was a pretty close race here. Bobo, Livio, Cash, and then Ken Winner was also ahead of me. But then, yeah, I guess Lily had a little bit faster board speed, so she was able to pass me as well. So I think I ended up in sixth place at that race. Yeah, sixth place. So it was, the finish was Bobo, Cash, Livio, Ken Winner, and then Lily, and then myself. And then I think Tatiana and Javier finished almost equally. So yeah, so that was nice wind all the way to the end. They had the finish line kind of outside of the pier this time, so you didn't have to get all the way inside the pier, which was nice. So you didn't have to, especially for the stand-up foilers last year, a lot of people just had to paddle in at the end. So not being able to foil through the finish line was kind of a letdown a little bit for a lot of people, but great race. Once again, the Maui to Molokai race. I definitely could have been on a faster foil, I feel like, but yeah, I think Tatiana and Javier finished almost exactly even. And then there's Felipe from Oahu, Matt Turini, John McCabe, and yeah, lots of other racers. So Eli, my friend Eli from Molokai. Once again, we all stayed at Eli's place, or some of us stayed with him. He has a nice place right up there at Kaluakoi, right by the water. And some of the other races, Nohea, Jamie Brown from Oahu, Dirk from Oahu. Julie is Ken Winner's wife. She made some really nice trophies for this race. And then after the race, they had we went to the cultural center there on Molokai and had like a nice award ceremony and so on. And then the following day was the race on Oahu itself. On Molokai itself, which was the Molokai Holokai race. So here's the results from the M2M Maui to Molokai race. Oh, here's some footage from the finish after the M2M race, and all the stand-up foilers with their gear lined up there. That was kind of a cool visual. I think somebody calculated that there's over $500,000 worth of equipment right there lined up on that fence. So, and then somebody was also joking that a lot of these boards are going to be for sale soon. So if you're looking for a downwind board, there might be some available. People are getting into para-winging now more, I guess. But the wind got even stronger, I think, towards the end of the day. And then, yeah, they had the award ceremony at the Cultural Center. The next day was that Kamalo run, the Molokai Holokai. That was a really fun race. It's just kind of the best part of the whole race. And then after that, they had another cool party at the Cultural Center. And Felipe got a bunch of the raffle tickets, so he wanted to stick around and wait for all the prizes to be given out. And he actually scored some cool prizes. Gift certificate for Mokulele airline tickets and a hotel stay on Molokai, so that he scored, and a couple sunglasses as well. The next morning, everyone's getting ready for the Molokai to Oahu race. Now this is on the west side of Molokai at Kaluakoi. Everyone's kind of getting their gear ready. A bunch of escort boats on the water, and in the distance you could just barely make out Oahu. Is kind of covered by the clouds. We had the pule where Eli said a little prayer for everyone to be safe. Conditions were kind of forecast to be a little bit light, but then it actually looked better that morning of the race. So I've decided I'm gonna kind of chance it and use my small foil, the Mike Slap 340, which is a tiny little foil, a little bit risky because when the wind gets light and you come off foil, can be hard to get back up on foil. But I think kind of the gamble paid off. I was definitely on a fast foil, so I was able to kind of get ahead and kind of stay with the leading pack there, which was same as on the M2M race. Cash, and then Bobo, and then Marley from Maui was one of the really fast guys too, and Livio. And Ken Winter didn't enter this race. Ken is, I think, is super impressive. He's 70 years old now and still as fast as the teenagers. So pretty impressive what he's doing. And then this race too had live coverage. So it was really cool at the start. There was a big Coast Guard helicopter, and then a helicopter from I think Salt and Air that had like a big gimbal mounted camera on the front. So and then drones and boats, and so it's really cool to have that footage. So after the race, I was really sore and could barely walk. My feet were hurting, so went home, laid on the couch, and watched the replay. And it was really cool to see our sport get such good coverage. There's Jeremy Stevenson from New Zealand. He kind of hurt his ankle a couple of days before the paddle Imua race, I think. So he wasn't in top form, unfortunately, for this race. But Scott Ng from Kailua did really well in this race too. But I did fall like 4 times, so I was kind of bummed out about that. But overall, happy with the result because. Yeah, with that fast foil, I was able to definitely make good time across the channel. I think I finished in under 2 hours, which was more than 20 minutes faster than my time from last year. So I was definitely happy with that. Here you can see us coming around close to Diamond Head. Marley Franco from Maui pulled off the win. So congratulations on that. Here, and then they had the finish line outside Kaimana Beach, and I highly recommend that. Yeah, watching the replay on YouTube. I kind of have it playing in the background behind me as well. But and then we had some jet skis that took us in from the finish, and I waited at the finish for a while, but there was really no other wingers coming for a while. Like I waited 10 minutes and didn't see any other wingers, but here are the next finishers. So Lily finished next, I think 6th place, then Javier, Tatiana, Felipe. So very similar kind of finish as in the M2M race. The placings, there's Felipe Anna finished third in the women's, I think. Scott Ng from Kailua got second place in the 50 to 60-year-olds. There's Jeremy Stevenson, Matt Turini. I think Jeremy was third and Matt fourth in the 50 to 60-year-olds. So yeah, another great race. It was windy all the way to the end. Sometimes the wind can get really shifty at the behind Diamond Head, or like there can be like swirly wind and really hard to navigate. There's Donnell and Nohea. Donnell couldn't finish the race last year, but this year he did, so congrats on that. And this is the Molokai to Oahu race is no joke. It's like there were several people who didn't finish. So just being able to finish this crossing across the channel isn't as a big accomplishment. So congratulations to everybody that finished. So I was on that 7-meter Blue Planet Superfly wing, which was good to kind of be powered up and be able to pump and get going. Here's a couple of still shots from that live coverage. I didn't put in any videos because that would be copyright infringement, I guess, but I just took a couple of still shots. So a lot of times just trying to go downwind as steep as possible, staying on the bumps, and then if you come off a bump, you kind of have to turn into the wind again a little bit to catch some wind and keep up the speed. And here's some footage from Miho of me finishing at the end. So it's like offshore wind coming off Kaimana Beach, a little bit lighter wind at the end. And just kind of making it all the way to the finish line. Here you can see the Kaimana windsock, and then the finish line was between two boats with big red-orange buoys on top. And I was definitely happy to come across the finish line. Felt good to take the pressure off my feet. My especially my heels were really sore for some reason. Like just putting pressure on the foil the whole race for 2 hours just made my heels hurt. You can see that Mike's Lab 340 foil is pretty tiny. I have a 103 mast with the Tuttle box. Some photos here at the finish line with Kailani, my friend Fabrice from Costa Rica, and his daughter Kalia. And then in the wing foiling, it was Marley, Cash, Bobo, Livio, myself, 5th place, Javier from Maui, Felipe, Scott Ng, Michael Worrell, Jeremy Stevenson, Matt Turini, Eli, and so on. And then in the women's, it was Lily again winning it, Tatiana second, Anna third, and then Jenna, who did it for her first time, and Nohea. So congratulations to all the finishers. My little recap. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see, what else can I talk about? This is in the background here is my board. It's a 5.8 Blue Planet Wing Racer that I used for these races. Really nice board. It's 5.8 by 21 by 90 liter volume. Has a Tuttle box and a plate mount, so great board for these races. And then the next to it is my Blue Planet Superfly wing that I was using, and then the foils I was using. I'm going to show you real quick. This one is my Mike's Lab 600 square centimeter foil, which I used in the M2M race, and just because I wanted to play it safe in case the wind got light at the end. But I definitely could have also used this one in the M2M race. This is the 340. That's the one that Ken Winner was on, and was able to get ahead of me on that one. So this is the one I used in the paddle Imua and also in the M2O race. It's a really fast foil, and not just fast, but also it just helps with control, like being able to go fast without a loss of control. So, but yeah, it looks tiny, but once you're up on foil, it actually has a pretty good amount of lift. So I think I was definitely happy that so I'm definitely happy that I picked that foil for the M2O race. It worked really well. And then coming up next weekend is the paddle edition of the M2O race. The original traditional paddle world championship race is this coming Sunday. So for that one, I'm also entered, and I'm going to paddle on a traditional stand-up paddle board, just a stock 14-foot stock board. So that's the Blue Planet bump rider. It's actually hanging right here on my ceiling. I'm going to show it real quick. So that's the 14-foot bump rider that I'll be riding this Sunday. Definitely challenging to train for both races, but I kind of find that the endurance training for stand-up paddleboarding, where you're going to be on the water for 5 or 6 hours, is much more challenging or more demanding than being on a foil for 2 hours. So by training for that longer distance or the longer time on a stand-up paddleboard, definitely is helpful in terms of being prepared for the foil racing as well. So anyway, that's a little recap of the last month of racing. One more race coming up, and then I'll be able to kind of just rest and relax a little bit and get ready for next year. So, but always fun to have that challenge, and it's a good way to stay in shape for me. And if any of you are interested in these races, I definitely highly recommend watching this replay of the M2O race, the foil race edition. That was pretty exciting to watch for me anyways, especially after finishing the race and then being able to watch the replay. It's on YouTube. I'll put a link down below if you're interested in watching that. And then stay tuned for another race recap next week on the paddle edition race. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little recap. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the Blue Planet Surf YouTube channel. I'll see you on the water. Aloha.